We are part of a project called Sincere. It's a European project on the renovation of cultural heritage buildings in sustainable ways. We work there with Elias. So the game starts with a challenge. The challenge is something that we send also to you. And the challenge says that you have to do 4 very basic steps. Choose a building and visit it and connect to it. And then start observing with all your senses. Touch it, smell it. Of course, you don't have to eat it. One of the senses does not have to be used. And choose something from the building. It would be the whole building or a specific point. I was very interested that many of you chose from a very small scale to the stairs up to the whole building. It's up to the observer to choose how this frame is, how big it is. And then to tell a story. And to tell a story through the perspective of your selection as a frame. And this is the complicated thing, because we are not used to talk on behalf of others. And this is also the assumption that putting our minds to talk like it's somebody else could help us understand better different perspectives, but also communicate better our ideas. And it's not a new idea, although most people, when we say it, they say, very cool, I never heard of it. This form of impersonation has been discussed a lot. For example, there is even a film by Wim Wenders called If Buildings Could Talk. And here is some of the quotes of Wim Wenders, that if they could talk, some of them would sound like Shakespeare, others like the Financial Times. If there were people, they could be old or young, male or female. And he says that it's not a metaphor, but they do speak to us. It's not something that it's only an imagination. You just have to be able to listen. Then another main reference for this type of impersonation is Bruno Latour. He's a French philosopher, and he coined the term actor network theory. He created a whole theory about the agency of objects. And later in his life, he didn't implement this project. He proposed to create the Parliament of Things, saying that if you have to decide about the future of Earth, in the decision table, we shouldn't be only us, the people, but also other important things and parts of nature that should have a saying in our decisions. And if we could do this even as a play, maybe our decisions would be better for everybody. So Bruno Latour, and the reference that I learned from Elias is the architect Louis Kahn. That I don't think, I tried to search a little bit, but I think he didn't transform this to an official theory or something like that, but it was some sort of a play that he was using with his students. It is part of an interview that he engaged in a dialogue with a brick. And yes, he quoted that even a brick wants to be something, and what it is, we don't know. And there are many actors that could talk through it. For example, the architects. This is a real photo of famous architects from New York. Then you have the residents that have rights. This is from an activist art project in London where they put the photos of the people to avoid the demolition of the building, saying that there are real people living there. The owners that have requirements and restrictions and things like that. Important element of the building is its history. We can say stories from the past through the impersonation of the building. Technology now is very active, modeling things and showing and using buildings as ways of representing technical knowledge. The users, of course, how they use the building can say their own stories. And of course, they are not only humans, we have also animals, and not to have a selection between dogs or cats. I am fair. The visitors have something to say. And they can observe, they can like, they can draw the building and talk about it. We know the tourists that take all the photos. But there are also things that the buildings could even have to say on their own. I mean, we have all these actors that could communicate things and put it on the mouth of the building, but maybe the building has something to say that we don't know. And this we have to feel, we have to sense, we have to imagine. Also the things inside. This is one of your videos. I like that the machine that talks looks like a face with a long tongue. But also the materials. I just took this photo outside. Everything has different stories to say, and we can describe them as external observers, but trying to say the story from their behalf could be a very interesting exercise. And then there is the question of how. Okay, we have things to say, but how the building can talk. So one example is the voice-over. We did a Zoom meeting at the European Heritage Days, and the idea was that two heritage buildings would join on Zoom and they would talk. And then the people that were in the Zoom were invited to join the discussion, and Elias actually ad hoc took a photo of Holon and put it on his background and joined the discussion. And I have a few highlights from this. It is a 1 hour discussion. It was very interesting. People liked it a lot. Let's see how it will work. So welcome everybody in this unique event. Perhaps it is the first ever online dialogue between two cultural heritage buildings.
Hello, I'm Blast Furnace number 6 from Ostrava. My journey began in May 1962, and my sister was born, or as we say, put into operation in June 1975.
I was born out of the ashes of the Cathedral of St. John. I would really love to be alive again, serving the arts and the letters.
Who wants to say something?
The University of Architecture in Bucharest. The architects restored my facade that was damaged by the pollution in the center of Bucharest, and I got a lift up and I feel young again, although I am 100 years old.
You look very refreshed. Wow.
Any other building that wants to join the discussion?
Actually, there is building number 3. And I have to say that I'm very jealous about all you guys getting a lot of attention, people photographing you, because I'm a concrete building. I was designed in the so-called brutalist style, and I have not been yet so appreciated like you.
First thing is, hi, welcome between us buildings.
Hello, hello.
I would just like to say that your time is definitely coming. People start to love brutalism.
Yeah. Initially, I was a little bit nervous as well, because, what is the real voice of this building? What is the voice of this building, and how we can approach it? It's a big question.
But the fact of using the first person and the speech changed the whole concept. It was really shocking, actually, and good thing, let's say.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think many thoughts come to mind. One is what exactly you're saying, that when you listen to people acting buildings, it's almost like people acting theater in a way. There's an interesting empathy with the building in a way, and an interesting identity with the building, and an interesting ownership of the building. Who really owns the voice of the building? He was an architect, Louis Kahn, who used to say, what does a building want to be? What does the material want to be? The brick, what does the brick want to be? So it's fascinating to take this role and represent something, an object, and something that you identify with, or you're so close to. I think it's really fascinating.
Great. Thank you very much.
What I would like to add is that I was very impressed by the playfulness of everyone. So it was really enjoyable this hour.
Another thing, of course, it's writing. And I discovered after I started working on it that this is one of the most basic exercises in creative writing, to give voice to a building. And actually there is a book in Greek from Kedros Editions, which is exactly has this time, what if the buildings could talk? This is a photo I took to share with my friends from Rhodes because it's about the post office in Rhodes, and people I mean, the writers do this all the time, no? They have to represent different actors, most human, but you have also all this for kids, these comics, and this impersonation is a very important element of creative writing. Then you have, of course, all this facade art that it's more visual, that gives voice to the buildings. I mean, it's unlimited, the options. Then I found some interesting work with sounds. So this is from a documentary from a prison in Czechia. It was suggested to me by our colleagues. And there were some sound engineers that were trying to collect all the sounds that the building is making. Then they created a concert inside this building with the sounds of the building, with an audience that came to. And the most important is that it's not so important for what we will do at the end, that it has some huge value that we found at last this voice of the building that was hidden and we revealed it. It's the most important is for us that we are doing it. It's us that we learn and we understand ourselves, our environment. So it's the process the most important. Who wants to say about your experience? How did you approach it? How did if it was difficult? If you did something to, how did you choose, for example? You want first to see the videos and then to talk. I have collected some of them. I cut them a little bit to be a little shorter.
I am the old power station.
I am the old power station. I was built to bring light to Nicosia, to fill its streets with energy, to move with the rhythm of progress. I have stood here since the early 20th century, watching the first streetlights glow, hearing the machines work tirelessly, feeling the footsteps of workers who spent their days beneath my roof. Now I am more than a factory door. I am an entrance to something new, and as each hand grasps my handle, I wonder, do they know what I have seen? A final creak, then silence.
Just to say a spoiler, there is a lot of doors chosen, and it's a very interesting because it's the entrance, it's the mouth, it's. So yes, the next one is also a door.
I am the main entrance of a building at Eleftherios Venizelos Street in Xanthi. I was born, or rather, more accurately constructed many years ago. I have lived a lot, and because tomorrow I might not be alive, or to be precise, I might have been destroyed, I want to catch up and tell you my story. But it's not just the good looks that have abandoned me, it's the people who pass me by. In fact, they don't even notice me. Although every time someone walks by me, I hope I get lucky this time and notices me, wants to service me like the doors around me, and maybe one day there will be life behind me again.
Mm-hmm. I liked how you focused a lot on the object itself. You showed every corner of it. I mean, the previews was more of the idea of it. We didn't even actually see this door. It was through photos from the past. You were on the now, and it was really every small piece of it that was talking. I mean, a question for you to think as we watch the videos is if you find it valuable, for example, to present your work like this, or if we do something in this building in Kavala, is it, I don't want you to do it because, for me, really if it's valuable, because if it's not valuable, there is no point. But to think, can we use this technique to explain better what we do? It will help us design better, it will help others understand better. So this is the machine I already introduced that looks like a face. I like personally these objects that look like faces.
I was imported from America in pieces and assembled in the very spot where I still stand today. For about 20 years, I operated transforming raw cotton into the essential material for the textile industry. What will become of me? Perhaps they will cut me up for scrap metal, melt me down, and turn me into something entirely different. Or maybe someone will see me and remember, clean me not to make me work again, but to make me speak. To turn me into an exhibit, a part of a museum, a piece of the region's history. To tell the younger generations what it was like when cotton gave life to entire families, to whole villages. Will there be a second life for me?
There is a pattern here with the cultural heritage, no? You would like more the exercise if you were doing it in your own language. Now I realize that maybe the English was something that stopped you from using your own voices. If it was in Greek, if this machine was talking Greek, for example, it would be easier for you to do it. We discussed this in this Zoom discussion a lot. You saw also in the highlights who owns the voice, because when you say, let's give a voice to this building, then it's like a responsibility and an honor. I will talk about this building. Myself, I don't want to go too much in this direction and say that a building does not have only one voice that we have to discover, but a building is a stage that can allow all of us to talk through it and say things that the building could have said, but it's okay. I mean, it's not, we don't have to find some sort of purity or authenticity in this. But yes, in this case, when you have the owner and the history, it's a very tempting role. So we have, I think, one more of this, and then we will go to a different style.
I used to be full of life. People moved through me every day. Workers, machines. The smell of smoke would fill the halls, not from fire, but from the work that happened here. I had meaning, I had function. I was part of something. Now, I am nothing but a passage.
Very different, the old man talking. Yeah. Who is this old man?
Yeah, we thought of the old man because it's super, after all those experiences, it got burned, nobody was using it before it was burned, and now it's like an old guy or someone who's speaking. After all this experience.
This is one advantage of AI, that you can do all these different styles. Mm-hmm. And the rhythms, no? It's a slower thing. It was slower and more. Mm-hmm.
In this one, I really like that we could hear their footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't their voice, but we could hear the steps.
Yeah.
I also think that if the process was to film as an action or as an experience of a place without even giving any thoughts about what it will be, and then coming back home and analyzing it and then giving it a voice, it's like it's the beginning of a process. And I think it's an interesting way to think about the process as something which is continuous, because we can go back again afterwards with some knowledge and some thoughts, and then make another field that could talk about something that we learned, or it could talk about something that we think we can say about, like in the factory, the meal factory, she's talking about any kind of future that she's dreaming about. That's interesting, because you don't talk only about the past, but also about the future. So it's like a very interesting tool, I think. And also when you talk, you think. I mean,
yes.
You have to express your thoughts, which is very, very important.
In Hulon, it is the university, the building, and all the videos were really literally choosing different parts of it. So it's a little bit of a shift of a style.
Lately, I've gone through some changes, small in size, but big in impact. First, I opened myself to the sky with a skylight, a strong, tempered glass panel framed in clean aluminum, letting natural light pour into my core. It brightened me from within, made me feel more open, more efficient, more alive. And just when I thought I'd finished evolving, I lifted myself, literally. I added an elevator. Not just a mechanical core, but a new vertical rhythm to how people move through me.
What appreciates us? Every day, they step on us without even noticing.
Oh, not this again? At least no one leaves greasy fingerprints on you.
Look at you. Always shiny, always polished. Not even dust sticks to you.
Woo! That's part of my job. I provide stability, not a place to step on.
Right, I have to deal with dirty shoes and sharp heels.
And some of them even have wet soles. Gross.
Oh no, another one slipped away from me.
Don't worry, I got them. Told you, I'm the real hero here.
Ugh, I'm always the bad guy. You know what? Maybe we really are a good team.
Of course. I support people when you exhaust them.
And I give them the path up while you give them security.
Without stairs, there's nothing to hold on to. And without a handrail, there's no safe way up.
Too bad only we understand that.
You know what's the worst part?
What?
The elevator.
Are you there?
Heard, I'm always here.
No, you always disappear, and I just wait again and again.
You do know that's my job, right? To go up, down, to move.
And what about me? I just open and close, stuck in place, meaningless without you.
Oh, come on. You're the entrance, the face, the first thing they see when they rush in, the last thing when they leave.
But you see the world. Floor 1, floor 10. Just a frame.
It's my time to go.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
So I saw all three of them because the elevator had in all of them. Standing in ovation.
A new style.
Eh? Yes. No, these were three projects, but because they were all somehow connected, they were the first one with the parts, that it was interesting that it was the building talking on behalf of its parts, so it was presenting its children somehow, and then the dialogues between the parts that I think they were very... You talk easy. It's also easier to talk as a stairs. This is another dimension. When you talk on behalf of something else, you might say things that you wouldn't say as a person. It could free you because it's not you that it's talking, but of course it's you that makes the thinking process. So it's a form of encouragement to say things, perhaps. So the big thing here is that we have tested it even a little, but it's clear that this is an interesting exercise. You can do it at home with your kids. I mean, it's a very nice thing at different. The question is if it's really valuable. I mean, it's a research question. Can we distill more interesting things than we would have done with the classic way? And it's a question if you want to try this here. My role is to support you in this. We can also, perhaps, we have some equipment to do recordings, etc. Think with analogies. In the building, we can have dialogues between objects and things like that. This is where I want to finish, to keep thinking of this in the rest of the days, how we can use it. You as a film director, you got inspired. I mean, what was your reaction to this type of content? How do you feel?
I steal it with my both hands.
Yes? Good.